On this episode of Living in Nashville, we're going to talk to a realtor with Remax Elite named Taven Royster. We're going to ask him about pros and cons of moving to Nashville. We're going to ask him 5 things. We're going to ask him 3 pros and 2 cons about moving to Nashville. And without that, I'm going to just throw it on over to Taven Royster. Taven, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Andy. I just want to make sure that we take a moment to acknowledge your awesomeness. Thank you very much for hosting me on your show. I really appreciate it. I'm honored to be here. And I'm looking forward to discussing some of the pros and cons of living in Nashville. I have grown up in Nashville, so I know a little bit about it. And I'm looking forward to speaking about it with you today.
Gotcha. So what I'm hearing is you're one of those anomalies. You're one of those native folks that's from Nashville. I mean, I've been here for, let's see, 30 plus, almost 35 years, but other than that, I'm not from here. I'll never be from here, but you're a native Nashvilleian.
Well, you've still been here longer than me, though.
Okay, so that's how it's going to play today. Well, the good thing about this is I have a backup just in case, if we have to go to Taven and Taven show, since Taven is liking to talk about Taven and making fun of Andy on his own show. We could do that if we need to, but I guess we'll just stay with this format for now,
Okay.
and see if we can make it through.
Sounds good.
Taven and I do another show, and we'll link some of those videos, after this. It's called the Ask Andy and Taven Show, but for whatever reason, sometimes we didn't get along all the time, or we got along too well. So I just had to go out on my own, and do a different show because he was
Spread your wings a little bit.
he was stealing my limelight and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
So he wanted it to be called the Ash Taven and Andy Show and all this kind of stuff. And
we decided age before beauty, it was the Ask Andy and Taven show.
Contract renewals came up and that kind of stuff, and I just made sure I signed a new contract without him. So that's how it rolled. So, but back to the native Nashville, talk here. So let's go to the pros. Let's start that way. What are 3 things that you really just think are exceptional about Nashville when people are moving here?
3 great things about Nashville. That's really hard. Nashville is an amazing town to live in. I would say the pros are probably different for everybody, and that's probably a pro in itself. I'd say that'd be the first pro of living in Nashville. There's such a diversity, and there's so many different things to do, so many different experiences to have, that just about anyone can come here and have a good time. I would say that'd probably be the first pro. A second pro for me, I like to eat great food, and we have an absolutely incredible list of restaurants to choose from. And they're all great eateries, ranging from country cooking to fine dining, French dining, German dining, Italian, you name it. We've got everything that you'd ever want. So I'd say number 2 would definitely be food. Number 3, I'd say number 3 would be the diversity and entertainment options. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I would definitely say that would be the 3rd.
So let's go back to food for a second and talk about food. So when you say great food options and that kind of stuff, what are some of those options that people can do if somebody's just coming to Nashville for the first time and we're trying to wow them and we want them to move here? Where would you send them?
I would say they should check out probably Monell's. Definitely Monell's would be a go-to place to go to. You should try some Church's hot chicken. What would be a 3rd one? Somewhere really good. I'm a pretty big fan of going to Kobe Steakhouse. I think that would be a 3rd one to check out.
Gotcha. So the Monell's thing, that's kind of a family style Southern fare, meat and 3. You're going to sit at the big table,
Yep.
pass around sides, get to know other people. So it could be a really good experience because, there's a lot of folks that come in, on their lunch break or dinner time, bring their family, Sunday brunches, that kind of stuff. There's one location, I think in Germantown is the original location. I think they've got another one down. It's a quicker stop, maybe down in Berry Hill. And then I think they took over the Manor out off of Murfreesboro Road out by the airport. I think
Yep.
that's their other location as far as that goes. Now you
I like
talked
Germantown. Germantown's my favorite.
and that's again, that's the original, and I think you get the experience. You can see some of the architecture in that little burb of Germantown. Walk over, pick up a Sounds baseball game maybe while you're there. A couple local pubs and things like that you could grab a beer or a Coke or a cold glass of water, iced tea, whatever your preference is at that point in time over there. So absolutely good stuff there. What about, so let's talk music for a second. You talked a variety of music. I know
Mm-hmm.
everybody, comes to town to be, on that radio show that started at the Ryman Auditorium, and become famous in country music and the old country and western or the honky tonks that are up and down Broadway. But outside of those, what other music, do we have that's in Nashville?
Well, I mean, there's a number of different places now. I used to love going to Third and Lindsley. That was probably one of my favorites. I think they're completely closed at this point, but another great place to check out would be Exit In or just go to the Bluebird and hang out. Hanging out at the Bluebird is always fun.
Gotcha. And those places, there's a lot of songwriters and things that do, writers in the round and stuff like that. So you can
Yeah.
hear some of the songs coming up, and a lot of the newer artists, I guess, that are up and coming, that play some of those sets, even like in the off
Yes.
hours of the daytime, kind of stuff is when they're trying to get discovered, in Nashville, if you will, on that side. So we've talked about food, we've talked about music. I think you said the first pro was just the difference of experience. I mean, lots of different things to do in and around Nashville. Let's switch gears for a second. We try to be pretty positive people, in and about Nashville, and talking about people moving here. But what are those cons? Why would people not want to move to Nashville?
That's tough. I think it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. But one thing that generally people don't love about this city is the humidity. It can get sticky. It can get hot. Now, there's a pro to that. We've got a lot of waterways, lakes, and water parks to hang out at. Opryland just opened their indoor water park out in Hermitage, Mount Juliet area. They've got an incredible water park. I can't remember the name of that place. What's the name of that place?
Sound Waves, I think, is what.
Sound Waves. Yes, you can go to Sound Waves, and then of course there's multiple lakes like Percy Priest or Old Hickory, or you can go to the Cumberland River. So though it might get really humid and hot for a few months, a lot of people take that opportunity to go out on the lake and enjoy themselves, or go to one of the water parks.
So that's kind of a con with a twist. It's one of those you might consider it bad depending on where you're moving from, but there's some ways to combat it, if you will, on that side. So
Yep.
what about another con, another reason that people, might not like moving to Nashville?
A lot of people talk about the traffic, but that's really tough. That's kind of circumstantial. I mean, I've had people move here from Atlanta, and they laugh whenever people say our traffic is bad, or from LA or California. I had a couple I was showing homes to in the Nashville area. They were moving here from LA, and I said sometimes we can hit a little bit of traffic, and of course we were out looking at homes during rush hour, and we did, and they thought it was funny because to them it really wasn't really that bad. But people say traffic. I don't think it's all that bad. There's a lot of back roads, a lot of side roads. We have a lot of smaller interstates to utilize. And so some people say traffic. I mean, yeah, I think that's another one of those things that's kind of specific to the individual, but we'll go with traffic for number two.
So basically, if they move to town and they call us and use our partnership, or Remax Elite or anything like that, we'll give them some secrets on how to avoid some of those traffic snags and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
gotcha. Well, I want to just say thank you, for coming on the show today and talking to me about the pros and cons of moving to Nashville. Any parting thoughts that you've got on this one?
No, not at all. I just really appreciate you bringing me in and giving me the opportunity to talk to your viewers.
No worries. Thank you. This is Living in Nashville. If you like the content that we're putting out and want to subscribe, You can hit the subscribe button that's down below. There'll be another one that pops up on the screen. But if you're liking these videos and content, just, give us a like, give us a comment, tell us what you think. And we'd love to talk to you when you come to town. All of our contact information is in the description. Our partners are ready to help you move to Nashville.